Namaste, greetings and blessings, and welcome to the Center for Spiritually Integrated Arts. This is our Sunday message, and I am Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, the founder and spiritual director of this center. And I invite you to watch not only this Sunday message, but any of our archived messages. I invite you to join any classes or events that we have going on. I invite you to reach out and email if you have any questions. Questions about this community, questions about me, questions about what we do, or questions about this science of mind and spirit, liberation theology that we practice and teach. And if by chance you find yourself seeking beloved community with other like-minded beings, even if you already belong, are a member of another community, church, or center, you are more than free to have multiple affiliations wherever you are fed and find community. You are invited. And lastly, feel free to click like, subscribe, and share this or any other message or announcements with others in your circle. And with that, much appreciation, love, and blessings. Enjoy the message. Namaste and greetings. Are you ready? Figured I'd give you a moment to, settle in. So today we are talking about this elevation of awareness. And if you remember, if you were with us, August 10th, we talked about love's ascent, elevation, same kind of idea. There's nowhere to go, but living a spiritual life is to walk a thin line of the both and. On the one hand, it can be compared to being on an elevator where the view from each floor changes our perspective based upon what floor we're on, right? So, like, it expands our awareness because on the first floor, I only see the street level, but from the rooftop, I might be able to see across the river to the other city. So, it changes our awareness. And then on the other hand, as infinite awareness or consciousness, there is nothing to expand into. Through life's many experiences, no matter what they are, up, down, left, right, no matter what the experience is, we are invited to quote unquote grow, to expand our understanding and our application and our embodiment. Pause. So once again, the idea is when I was born, I didn't know what numbers were, let alone how to add them or subtract them. So I grew into an awareness of, oh, that's a number. Oh, one apple and one apple makes two apples. And then I expand my awareness even more by going to school and learning there's a thing called math that deals with numbers in all kinds of ways. We do the same thing with our spiritual principles of truth. We grow out of the idea that God is anthropomorphic. We expand our awareness into a newer and more active, more relevant truth. Our awareness is, plain and simple, our awareness is, no matter what's going on. What matters most is how we choose to use and act upon our awareness. For example, right here and right now, awareness is, whether it's auditory awareness, tactile awareness. I can feel my rump roast sitting on the chair awareness, tactile, sensory, the smell of incense in the air. Awareness is, but where am I placing my awareness? Oh, you're still here? Oh, hold on. I like this video. This is where am I placing my awareness? How am I choosing to act upon my awareness? Because I can be aware that there's a hornet nest right there. I can be aware of it. It ain't bothering me. I ain't gonna bother it. Oh, did I just get stung? Oh, did I? Oh, now I want to act. You had the opportunity to act before. So that's what matters most. How are we choosing to embody and to act? So, this idea of elevation of awareness, part of it is linguistic convenience, part of it is accurate. So, it's a yes, no, both, and. Depends on where we're speaking from and what we're speaking to. What am I conveying when I talk about the elevation of awareness? The elevation of awareness with math is you start with basic addition. Once you've got that, you elevate it to subtraction. You elevate it to multiplication, to division, to decimals, fractions. Now you bring in the alphabet. Somewhere down there, you put the parentheses in the alphabet and you trying to solve for why. Why? I want to know why. That's what I want to know. Why? Why am I solving for y? X divided by y equals y. That's how so it depends. Once again, what are we talking about? And what is the point in using the specific words we are using to communicate? So let's break it down a smidge. Elevation means the action or the fact of elevating or something being elevated. It is an upgrade, an advancement in skill, knowledge, etc. Okay? So think of it as elevation in terms of a building. The sightseers don't enter the Empire State Building from the observation deck. They enter it at the ground level. And then from the ground level, more than likely, they're not taking the stairs to the observation deck. They are taking one of the elevators, but they elevate. Elevator elevates them, and they go higher. And from there, there's a different vantage point. Each of these is a symbol used to illustrate a concept. Neither of these can be entered or ascended. So once again, language matters. What are we referring to when we talk about ascending or elevating, etc.? God cannot be ascended either. God is all there is, which includes you. We can symbolically talk about ascending, but there is nowhere to go. Breathe that in. Awareness. Consciousness, recognition, realization, understanding, knowledge. The opposite of it is ignorance. So as we elevate our awareness, we are increasing, we are expanding our knowledge, expanding our realization. Wait, you mean I'm not just a lowless sinner? You mean I'm not just low like the dirt? No, you are a divine being. Wait a minute. I have elevated and expanded the realization in recognizing who and what I am. It changes how I show up. So, yes, once again, how are we using the words to effectively and adequately convey what we're talking about? So, what we are being invited to do is become more aware of what already is. Tat Tavam Asi. You are it. You are the divine right now. We only know a tiny proportion about the complexity of the natural world. Wherever you look, there are still things we don't know about and don't understand. There are always new things to find out if you are willing to go look for them. Are you willing to look for the truth about yourself? In the same way that a tourist, when I visit New York, am I willing to find out more about the city? Am I willing to get on a tour bus? Am I willing to go into the Empire State Building and venture to the observation deck? And am I willing to find new ways of and new ideas? Am I willing? Or am I comfortable? When I first moved to Washington, D.C., not sure where I was interpreting, but someone made a comment and said that there are people who live in DC, have lived there their whole lives, and have never been to the Capitol, have never been to the mall, meaning the space of land between the Capitol and the Washington Monument. They've never been to the Washington Monument. They've never been to the White House. They've never been to the Kennedy Center. They've never been to Chinatown. You get my point. They're DC natives, born and raised there, and have never ventured out. And yet there are people who come from Japan to sightsee, from Russia to sightsee, people from all over the world. But I'm from here and I don't go because I'm comfortable. There are always new things to find out. Or to quote our Star Trek folks, to boldly go where I may have never gone before, to seek out new things, to search for new cultural experiences, to boldly go if I am willing. Hey, it's Professor Lola again. What's up, Professor Lola? So I want us to imagine for a moment a closed box. It can be a gift box, it can be a package, it can be something else. Just envision a box in your mind's eye. Once you have the image in mind, open the box and see what is in it. And once you have that in mind, now look outside of the box and look around it. How did what is around the box, how did it get there? How did what's in the box get there? How did the box get there? Exactly. All of it occurred within your imagination, within your mind. There was no inside or outside of the box because there was no box. There was only mind, only consciousness, which of itself does not grow or expand, meaning God as absolute is unchanging. It simply is, which once again is simply our reminder of linguistic convenience to be mindful of what are we conveying, for what purpose are we conveying it, and how best to convey it. Infinite consciousness does not expand. There is nothing for it to expand into, right? You have to have something to expand into for it to expand. And there is no purpose for that expansion. It simply is. This is not an invitation for us to be apathetic, to venture into nihilism, or some form of slothfulness. Quite the opposite. It is an invitation for us into creation, greater embodiment of creation, just like we created the box. We created the inside, the outside of the box. If we wanted to, we could then take that image and form it into clay or wood or a drawing, and we manifest what was in mind. We get to create. So that's our invitation with this whole idea of elevating our awareness. All things, including ourselves, are some manifestation of it. Hence, all things have a direct relationship to it. Since all things emerge from it and are sustained by it, and since it is all things, this relationship is direct and immediate. Our consciousness of this relationship is through an inner awareness. It's that awareness that we can expand or elevate. We're not expanding the it, we're expanding our awareness of it, our embodiment of it. This inner awareness on our part is not only our awareness of it, but also its awareness of us. It's how oneness identifies itself in, through, and as the all that is, the multiplicity. Hence, our awareness of it and its awareness of us are one and the same thing. Each person's consciousness of themselves is God's consciousness of them. A person's consciousness expands, they become more and more God conscious. The more you acknowledge yourself as, I think I want to be a poet. Yeah. And you start writing, you start speaking, you start going places and speaking your poetry in public. You start publishing books of poetry. Well, now you have poet consciousness because you have embodied it and made this is who I am. This is what I do because it's what I am. As our consciousness expands to the recognition and the realization that we are that which it is, then we have to say, I don't simply have Ray's consciousness, because there is no Ray consciousness separate from infinite consciousness. So I recognize that this consciousness is God consciousness. Remix. All things, and ourselves included, are some expression of, incarnation of, manifestation of God, which means all things have a direct relationship as God. Since all things emerge from it and exist within it and are sustained by it, precisely because it sustains itself. God sustains God as all things. And this relationship that it has as itself with itself and all that is itself, all that it does, all that it is a direct and immediate relationship. Do I have to go somewhere to be a Black man? Or is my relationship as a Black man right here where I am? It's immediate and it's direct. Our consciousness of this relationship of oneness is through both our inner awareness and our outer expression of this truth. This inner awareness and outer expression on our part is not only our awareness and expression of it, but also its awareness and expression of and as us. Therefore, our expression, our awareness and expression of it, and its awareness and expression of us are one and the same thing. Our consciousness of ourselves is God's consciousness of itself as us. And as our consciousness expands, we become more and more God conscious. Breathe. There's always more. The limitless resources of the Spirit are at our command. The power of the infinite is at our disposal. Those two words, command and disposal. Not sure if I'm going to do a remix yet, but we have as much to use as we know how to take. Yeah, that same thing. Take. These are really colonization grounded. But the taking is a thing of the thought, the will, the imagination. It is a thing of an inward feeling or interior awareness in that place where the mind has unified itself with the living spirit. There's always more. There's always more. This limitless resource of spirit, the limitless resources of spirit are ours to embody. The power of the infinite is ours to access, ours to express, ours to utilize. We have as we have as much to use as we know how to embody. But the embodiment begins as a thing of thought, a thing of imagination, a thing within our consciousness. It starts there, and then it becomes the outward expression of. There is always more. Always more. Always more to love. Always more to experience. Always more to live. Take that in. Simply breathe. Always more. More to love, more to experience, more to live. How are you embodying this more? How are you expressing this more? More love, more experience, more life. How are you accessing, expressing, and embodying it? There's always more. Even when we look around us and see lack and scarcity, the lack and scarcity doesn't necessarily have to be, but it's because of systems that are in place that lack and scarcity exists. There's always more. How are we embodying, making use of, expressing, sharing that there's more love, there's more experience, there's more life. And all that is you. You are more. And because you are more, you get to experience more. You get to love more. You get to live more. Beyond the confines of. There's always more. The greatest mistake of the movement has been trying to organize a sleeping people around specific goals. You have to wake the people up first. Then you'll get action. In what way are we in New Thought still asleep? In what way are we in New Thought invited to not only wake up, but get up? Because I can wake up and lay in the bed all day, get very little done around the house. But at some point, I'm going to have to get up and go eat, get up and go to the bathroom. So, where in New Thought are we invited to wake up? And where in New Thought are we invited to get up? What action are we being invited into by getting up? We are thinking, choosing centers of awareness in this one mind. And according to the sum total of all our thoughts, we are either silently attracting good to us or repelling it from us. So that is a basic concept of the law of attraction, right? How are we attracting or repelling? Remix. As individualized expressions of the one mind, we are thinking, choosing centers of awareness, and all of our thoughts, beliefs, Paradigms, mental equivalents, all of them play a part in the way our lives unfold, where we are either passively or actively attracting good to us, or by the same process, repelling good from us. So once again, we are being invited to a more mindful awareness of our mental equivalents and how they shape not just our lives individually, but collectively. So when we talk about elevating, for what reason are you elevating? When you use the words elevating our awareness, okay, so you're elevating. Just like you get on an elevator and you push number 5. What's on floor 5? Why are you going to 5 and not 8? What is the reason for the elevation? Do you seek to change or do you seek to be? Do you know the difference? Are the changes you seek being sought to allow you greater expansive awareness of your being? Are you seeking because you think you're broken? The changes you want to make, are you seeking to make the changes because the way you are right now feels imperfect? I want to weigh 165 pounds because 175 pounds, I feel fat. Based on what? What belief am I holding that says 175 pounds is fat and that 165 is better versus be what I am and allow whatever actions to unfold from my being, which means I may or may not reach 165, but either way it goes, I am healthy, I am well, I am flexible. Doesn't matter. The being. Are you seeking greater expansive awareness of your being? Because when we do that, we realize I am what the universe knows as itself. And that's what I say, I am a way that the universe knows itself. I am a way that the universe knows itself. And that state of being, that conscious awareness of that being, I am. Not I do, not I will do, not I should have done. I am. And from the I amness comes all of the other things, all of the other doings and things to be done. All that stuff unfolds from the I am. Breathe. The holy fool, Nasruddin, arrives at the bank. The bank teller asks him if he can identify himself. He pulls out a mirror and says, "Yep, that's me. I can identify myself. Yep, I know. Yeah, that's me. That's me. I can identify myself. My nose, it's on my lips. That's me. It's not anybody else. That's me." At which point the bank teller says, "What do you want? Are you making a deposit or withdrawal? What are you doing? Can you identify yourself?" Now, this is a cool, funny way of thinking about this idea. But in essence, Ram Dass is inviting us into that your true self. Do you know how to identify your true self? The self that is beyond the flesh of wrinkles and age and doctor diagnosis and weight and finances. There is a true self that says, though my body changes, I am changeless. Can you identify that self? How do you accommodate the idea of or reconcile the idea of both and? My body grows older, but I am eternal. My body changes, but I am the infinite that is beyond changes. This body will die, but I cannot die, for that which God is cannot die. How do you accommodate the space for the both and? What are you being invited to do, referencing expanding your awareness? Your awareness of what? Your awareness of life, your awareness of God, the world, a world that works for all. Humankind does not face an eternal struggle against some external force that desires our downfall. Specifically referencing there is no devil, there are no demons that are the only struggle, the only battle, the only thing that needs to be overcome is our own ignorance, our own lack of awareness, and recognition of the beneficent power and creativity that is the source of all things. And we should never doubt the validity of our own considered judgment in such matters. Life has given us all we could ever desire. It's up to us to decide and discover for ourselves what the nature of life is, accept it, embody it, and then re-express it. So, just real quick, humankind does not face an eternal struggle against some external force, while understanding that there are external forces, quote unquote, there are people who do seek to cause harm. But they're doing so because, as it says in this issue of the magazine, due to their ignorance, their lack of awareness, and the lack of recognition of the beneficent power and creativity that is the source of all things, including them. How do we assist them in elevating their awareness so that they are no longer operating from a place of hurt and harm and ignorance? Speaking of hurt, harm, and ignorance, what are those? Okay, pretty clear on that. Okay. So what do you do with them? Oh, right, you put them on. But suppose that scorpion was in the shoe. Is ignorance bliss? Would you prefer not to know there's a scorpion in the shoe before putting the shoe on? Would you prefer not to know before he puts the shoe on? It ain't my foot. I don't care. Ignorance is bliss, but only if bliss means boldly living in stunning stupidity. Boldly living in stunning stupidity. That is the only time that ignorance is, in fact, bliss. Knowledge gives us the ability to change and transform. Is ignorance bliss when it comes to any of these? Or would you rather know? So if the baby was in the process of falling, would you want to know? If the baby was chewing on a cord, would you stop them? etc. Is ignorance bliss? It is not. We can close all we want. It doesn't change the fact. Breathe. As cognitive beings, we discover, learn, expand our awareness in all manner of ways. Science, art, technology, theology, and more. This is our nature and is an expression of the paradoxical reality of the infinite finiting itself as us. We are an expression of that which is omniscience, all knowingness itself. And yet we seek to learn and know more. If I am an expression of all knowingness itself, I'm an expression of omniscience, then there is a part of me, there is an aspect of me that already knows and knows that it knows. And yet, the me that is relative to this body, this mind, these hands and fingers, this color, etc., learns and expands in knowledge and awareness, both and. The main lesson is not to become attached to the acquisition. Do not allow the expansion to become simply another thing to become addicted to. Because many are addicted to the concept of enlightenment, spiritual advancement, and we use all kinds of fancy words. We follow gurus who are technically cult leaders. We put people on pedestals and worship them rather than find that place of ourselves that knows the truth and follows the truth and is the truth made manifest. Do not become addicted to just another form of elevation, awareness. Breathe. So, what do you see behind Professor Lola? That's my name for her. Her name Lola. What do you see? Okay, cool. But what does Reverend Ray see? If you know me, then you know what I see. I see a place to celebrate. There are books, books, and more books. There's a windy staircase. Oh, I see heaven. Heaven. I see heaven. That's what I see. Look, no, come, go back, go back. Look at this. Okay, Lola, go. Look at this. How could you? And the funny thing is, probably 90% of these books are things I wouldn't even care to read. I don't care. Just having them around. Just look. They're, oh, it feels like home. When I think of home, I think of a place that's got more books to read. Wow. Yes. Now, the point being, don't simply become addicted to the books. Don't simply become addicted to the being, in that space, because somehow that space is different from this space when all space is God's space. But partake of life and enjoy life wherever you may be, doing whatever you are doing, because earth is crammed with heaven, but only for those who see. They are the ones who remove their shoes. Earth is crammed with heaven, but only those who see, only those who recognize are the ones who reverently take it in. Do you see heaven around you? Do you see heaven within you, as you? And in so seeing it, in so recognizing it, do you remove your shoes because of how divine you are? Your own self-realization is the greatest service that you can render the world. Your waking up, the greatest service you can render the world. Your getting up is the greatest service that you can give to the world. The Science of Mind and Spirit 4.0 gives us the means to transcend the mental equivalence of the collective consciousness by expanding our awareness of this thing called life in all of its many facets. As Pythagoras said, "Know thyself, then you will know both the universe and God." This is the awareness we are being called to expand into and to embody. Having elevated our awareness to that of our divine truth, there is no way that we can go back to sleep. We wouldn't even want to. There is no way where we simply go through the day mindlessly ignorant of reality. Now, awake, we arise, we act, we serve, we heal until all are aware and all are experiencing heaven, because it is a world that works for all. Breathe. This week's affirmation, our declaration, I will say it first. If it resonates with you, I invite you to say it the second time. Ready? I elevate my awareness through practicing my presence as the presence of God. Come on now. Together. I elevate my awareness through practicing my presence as the presence of God. Aham Brahmasmi. Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. This week's Thursday night study group questions or your own personal journal questions. Number 1, where in my life am I still asleep or acting as if ignorance is bliss? What must I do to wake up and then get up? Elevating my awareness will do what for me? Will do what for others? Will do what for the world? If I do this, how does it benefit me, others, and the world? Number 3, how do I limit my awareness and expression? In what way do I limit these? Number 4, regarding the quote by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, in what ways do I see the heaven that the earth is crammed with, and how do I remove my shoes? Number 5, after revisiting the 2 remixes that I gave you, what are my thoughts, my feelings, concerns, and challenges as the remixes relate to me and the elevating of my awareness? So that means you're going to have to go back and look at the remixes to answer that question. And then lastly, if there is always more, when do I act as if there is not enough? And one add on there, and not enough what? Not enough time, not enough money, not enough what? Our practice this week, who's it gonna be? Oh, it's Neo. Have a conversation with someone about 2 ways you have elevated your awareness over the years and what were the consequences of it. And breathe. Simply entering into that space of this infinite awareness where we know that there is nowhere to go, that the all that is right where we are as us. And so we avail ourselves, we open our heart, we open our mind, we open ourselves to receive, to accept, to embody the all that we are. In the same way that there are right now LGBTQ youth who closet themselves for protection because they are surrounded by people who would hurt and harm them psychically, physically, emotionally, spiritually. So they are limiting their ability to open and expand into the truth of who and what they are. So we speak this, we know this, not only for ourselves, but for all, that we are waking up, getting up, and going into action to create a world that works for all, where they, nor anyone else, ever needs to play small. That we open ourselves up to the truth of who and what we are, whatever that may be, as an artist in a family of blue collar workers, as a musician in a family of mathematicians. Whatever it may be, we open ourselves to the truth of our being, both in the relative and the absolute. And as we open ourselves to embody the truth, it changes how we show up. As we learned math and subtraction, it changed how we dealt with numbers. It changed our experience of numbers. And as that changed, it changed how we did math regarding money. It changed how we did math regarding all manner of things. As our awareness of one thing changes, it changes us. And as we change, it changes our experience. And as our experience changes, it changes consciousness individually and collectively. So, yes, as an individual expression of God, as my awareness changes, it impacts the awareness of those who are watching right now, consciously or subconsciously. But nonetheless, consciousness is changed. And as our relative consciousness is changed, it ripples out. In the same way that there was a time where women could not vote, were not permitted to vote. But as the consciousness of a group of women changed, it expanded and it expanded, and a movement was formed, and the suffragists reached a critical tipping point that then caused a change in the government, a change in the Constitution, a change in the way we operated collectively. And while there are a group of people today working to undo that and send us backwards in consciousness, we understand that you cannot do that. You cannot cause one who has awakened, you cannot force them back to sleep. So we anchor in right now to the truth and the power of this. We are awake. We know who and what we are as expressions of God. We know what is ours to do as expressions of God here to create a world that works for all. And so we ring the bell to awaken others to their divine magnificence, to such a time as there is a critical tipping point once again, and now there is a world that works for all. Healing, love, care, liberation for all. So we breathe into realizing that the law does what the law always does, knowing it is already done. It is already answered. So we simply say, and so it is. Breathe. As usual, I will see you sometime during the week or right here next week for our final Sunday of September. Blessings, much love and appreciation. See you soon.